Hello, good evening. We are here, I'm Sally Kimball, and I am a writer for the Timelines blog. And I'm here to talk to a few of the really important people in the club to help us celebrate this 25-year anniversary party. And I'm here with Mary Beth Joyce, our photographer, and what do you call yourself, Mary Beth? A videologist?
Something like
Video?
that. Videographer.
Videographer. And we've invited Claire Allen here to talk with us. And Claire, I believe you were one of the first presidents of the club?
Well, I certainly was one of the first members of the club. I think I was about 5 or 6 when it came to presidents, but now I'm one of the 2 longest presidential people still around.
How did the club come into being? You know?
Well, there were a lot of people who were residents here, and they used the facilities in Robert Russell's resort. But we all knew that he was having financial problems. So Bill Dalton got a whole group of people together, and I was one of the ones asked because, funnily enough, we were not living here, and they wanted somebody who was involved, who lived off the island.
You lived in Charleston at that point?
Yes, I did. And we had a meeting to determine what we thought we might do, and wanted to make an offer to Mr. Russell to buy the facilities. So we determined how much we thought would be a good amount, and we offered it to him. And he rejected it and sort of suggested another level. So we came closer to that, and he rejected it again.
Oh my.
And we sort of got the feeling that anything we said, he was going to reject. So we backed out. Then there was another committee formed called What's Next? And that group decided we would just wait until Mr. Russell declared bankruptcy, which he did.
Smart move.
And then we were all set and
Then
available.
the price was right.
Then the price was right, and we were all ready and waiting to purchase the club. And that's how the members first and on board in April came about. The original people that were willing to put up money for the club. And then we moved on from there. Bill Dalton was the first president, and we moved on. We had a very active conference business here, which was what made a lot of the money, and that was still in operation when I became president. But soon after that, through the Members First group, there was a lot of agitation about not wanting to have so many visitors on the island because they would overuse the facilities. And so the conference business was gradually dissolved, and we moved on. Financially, it was a big help, but then we began to realize that we needed some other help besides that, and we moved on to the next level. And I think the important one, and Ken was pretty much involved with that.
Wonderful. Well, that's a nice segue to talk with Ken Ingram. Thank you, Ken. Well, welcome, Ken. Thank you. This is Ken Ingram. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And I think you've also been a president of the club.
Yes.
But what I'd love to hear from you is about the Horizon Plan. I think that's one of the most outstanding things that the undertaking that the club has had, and we'd love to hear about it. And would you start by sort of defining what it is? Because we may have some new members who don't really know about it.
It's been 7 years. 7 years in September, we turned this property over to the club and to the POA. Before I talk about the Horizon Plan, though, I'd just like to say how much we should all appreciate what the On Board in April group did.
Yes.
If it weren't for them, and we wanted to do a Horizon Plan, probably the best we could do would be have a petition to some commercial owner that was own and run the club out here. And because of them, we're masters of our own fate, and we owe them a lot. But the Horizon Plan,
Good point.
yeah, the Horizon Plan was conceived as an idea to upgrade all of the facilities and the amenities on the island. They formed a Horizon Plan committee that was based on a kind of a pie-in-the-sky plan that really wasn't a buildable plan. So they formed the Horizon Plan Committee to build not only the club facilities, but also the POA facilities that are now up at the lake house. And we were charged to design and deliver that as one entity. We kept separate budgets because the POA has their own legal requirements and budgets, and the club had theirs. But we put things where it made most sense to put them without regard to whether it was a club facility or a POA facility. There was a Horizon Plan Committee of 7 members, and we're on the plaque in the wall, so I won't name them all. But I think that the 3 things that were most important about that is, one, in the early meetings, before the Horizon Plan was even approved, they asked us to start planning and start thinking about what we would do with for the facilities. And the first thing we decided was we weren't there to build what we wanted. We were there to build what the community wanted. And so we conceived a number of meetings, very open-ended meetings for people to come in and talk about. We had kind of a base structure of here's what the club facilities will be, here's what the POA facilities will be. But what do you want? What does the community want?
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I think all of us who were there at the time felt an ownership of
Yes.
this whole project.
And I think it's
That's
one of the
very
reasons the
important.
Horizon Plan results were accepted as well as they were, because we did that. But we started probably 6 months before the Horizon Plan was actually approved with that whole planning process. The other 2 things that the committee did right, we probably did a number of things wrong, but the other 2 things that we did absolutely right was we picked the right contractor and we picked the right architect. And in the process of interviewing architects and contractors, we wanted to find a team that would work together as a team and implement a design-build process, so that it wasn't the kind of thing where the architect did their work, threw it over the fence, the contractor tried to build it, talked about why it costs too much to build it that way, and the kind of thing that happens. And it was, at the time we did that was a fairly new concept down here in South Carolina of how to handle a major construction program. But our contractor, Trident Construction, and our architects, Glick Bain Architects, did a fantastic job of working together, and I hope you all will have some pictures of our facilities that go along with this, and you'll see what they produced. And we're very proud of the fact we came in ahead of schedule, under budget.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Amazing. How long did this take?
Well, if you consider all the upfront planning and everything, probably about 6 years.
Well, it really revolutionized this island.
Oh,
So-
the whole island.
Yes.
I believe that. In fact, I think, I've had a number of friends say that without what the Horizon Plan produced, they would not be here today. And they would not have bought here, that came here and bought afterwards. So I think it's been a really good thing. I love it, and I'm glad we got it all. We used to joke on the committee, this better come out right, or we're not going to be able to live here.
Well, it did come out right.
Yeah.
Thank you for everything you've done in your committee.
Well, it's a good committee. We had fun together.
Good. And now I'd like to introduce David Allen. And you might notice the similarity in names, because this, David is Claire's son, and it's so nice that we're here now and president of the club. So tell us, how is the club doing these days?
Well, I have to follow Ken's lead, because my wife Mary and I moved here 6 years ago, and we used to bring our kids here to vacation. They grew up knowing Seabrook, and I've seen the various phases of the facilities. And even with that family connection, we truly would not be here if the Island One and the Horizon Plan had not happened. It has differentiated Seabrook from every other place that we looked at. We truly are a club community, and it's that sense of community that has attracted us, along with the beauty of the amenities. So with the courage and the vision that folks like my mother and Ken put forth on behalf of this island and this club, our job today is relatively easy because the stage has been set. And I am happy to say that the club is the strongest it has ever been. Last month we hit our all-time high in membership at 1,788, and we continue to grow. Oh, it's just great. Financially, we are well ahead of schedule in paying down the mortgage on all of these beautiful facilities. In addition, we have built, at the end of last year, over $3.5 million in reserves in order to help protect us in the event of a natural disaster, and to continue to invest in the club so that we can maintain and, when needed, replace all of these beautiful amenities so that we can keep the beauty and the versatility of what we have to offer in place for many years to come. So fortunately, we have a ton of talent on the island. As was already referenced, we are masters of our own destiny, and we have a lot of that talent fortunately willing to volunteer because the passion is shared and the commitment is shared in the island. And as a result, we have a lot of great people that are working together that have had a ton of experience in the real world and now are able to bring that to bear on this island and make it as great as it now is and will be for many years to come.
That is so encouraging, wonderful.
It's exciting, it really is.
Do you have any special projects at this point, or?
We continue to invest in the club. In addition to the reserves, we have annual capital that we allocate as part of our budgetary process. And in combination, we continue to invest in all of our amenities. For example, in our racket club, last year we added pickleball, which is a growing sport, one of the fastest growing sports in the country. And the level of usage is increasing steadily, and it has added a great dimension to our racket club, which, by the way, was just voted the best tennis club in South Carolina. So we are very proud of that. On the golf side, we have commissioned last year a master plan from Reese Jones, and his father actually designed one of our 2 golf courses. And we will be starting...
Another family legacy.
Exactly. And we will be starting the first leg of that master plan this year with the replacement of our driving range and some other upgrades to the course. And that will be a multi-year upgrade of our courses to make them even more player-friendly and more modern in terms of comparisons with other courses out there. It's extremely exciting stuff. And we continue to invest in things like our beach club, where we are adding to the experience of dining outside with improved shading, with alternative grills that will help diversify the offerings. It's just actually, we've got so many things in the works, it's tough to cover them all in one shot, but it's really, really awesome, and it's very, very well managed.
And we can thank you partly for that, so thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I'm fortunate to work with an outstanding board and a ton of volunteers from across the membership that make up all of our committees that really make this work. So again, we're very fortunate.
It's good to hear. Thank you, David.
Thank you for the opportunity.